Another wonderful time to be on your screen. It's still the TSL Nigeria TV, and today on our breakfast show, specifically on All Stuff Wednesday, we'll be dissecting some of the recent trends that youth, should I say, generally people go into for the sake of money. My name is Joy Matthew, and with me are two beautiful ladies. You get to meet them right after this break. Welcome back. Thanks for sitting pretty. Now, if you're still here, you would bear with me. There are a lot of things have been raging on the internet lately. A lot of trends have been coming up, and people are wondering, where is this world going to? Now, I will not be discussing this alone, as you already know. I'm joined with Ella and the beautiful Becky. Welcome.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you girls doing?
Sharp.
You're looking sharp. Okay, so let's dive straight into the matter for today. These recent trends, you've seen things making the internet. There is the Dubai Potter Potty. There is the dog thing. How does all of this make you feel, Ella?
Scared.
Scared. Okay, I'll come back to you. But let me, Becky, how does this whole thing make you feel?
It's very disturbing. Very disturbing. You know, you turn on your data hoping to get entertained, and all of a sudden you're seeing something that will just make you want to cringe. It's disturbing.
Very, very. I think that's how I feel. Every time I see this, it shuns my tummy. Some persons do not know where we're driving at. Now, Ella, you said something. It makes you feel scared.
Yes.
Why are you scared?
Because I see it as not normal. I'm like, human being doing this. I'm scared. Maybe the world's about to end or something.
It's enough reason to be scared. Now,
Yes.
if you're wondering what all of this is about, so lately, I don't think that it's a recent trend per se, but let's start off with this. A TikTok user came up to say how, now we've been hearing, tidbits of this conversation online, and somebody did come out to say, yes, I did it. What did she do? I think it's called bestiality, being involved with an animal, dog. Like, I'm trying to use the best non-vulgar word. So this lady has intercourse with an animal, with a dog, and in return she gets paid 1.5 million naira or money around that amount. So why that came up, we also heard stories where people travel abroad. I don't know if it's happening in Nigeria already, but what was ranging on the internet was people were traveling abroad and they were going over to Dubai, going to Arab countries where they have what they call potter or potter potty, something of that sort. So this is what it is. I'll try not to be very pictorial. People engage in intercourse, but in a very, very fetish way. Like, this is the most absurd fetish I've ever seen. They would have to pass out excreta. It's disturbing. And feed it on to another person in the name of intercourse. Like Ella said, where is this world going to? It's like the world is about to end. So that's the basic of this whole conversation, all because of money. And then in return, these men give them money, use some of money. So that's there on one angle. People eating waste products, human waste for money. And then people involving themselves in bestiality for money. Now, let's come down to the whole angle of fetish. Do you think that this fetish is an ordinary fetish? Like, I know there are some persons that when you talk about sexual intercourse, they have things that arouses them that are probably out of the ordinary. But this fetish, how do you perceive this fetish? Do you think it's an ordinary fetish, or there are undertones that we are not aware of?
I don't see it as ordinary. Like I said earlier, it's not normal.
It's not normal.
It's not normal at all, because that fetish thing, being spiritual, I actually believe it, because, the means of getting that money involves connection. Okay.
She just said something, spirituality. Becky, what do you think about this whole fetish? Everybody, different folks, different strokes. So what works for A might not work for B. But do you think that this thing that's working for B is an ordinary fetish? It's just something that people do?
Okay. If there's not a spiritual factor to it, why in God's name would somebody have intercourse with an animal?
The dog.
Like, even the thought of it alone makes me feel some kind of way. Why, if there's no spiritual factor to it, why would somebody want to even do that in the first place?
Okay, now you just said something about spirituality. Remember that there is money attached to it. So, do you think that the money factor is probably enough reason why people are doing this already?
Yeah, it is. It's enough reason, but for a normal person, at least there should be limitations to what you can do for money.
Okay, now Ella said something earlier, and we said, so it makes sense when you place spirituality and then money. Definitely, it's coming from a spirit. Do you believe that it's
Yes.
actually spiritual kinikin that is giving them that money? Because I'm trying to make it make sense.
I believe.
Where does the dog have 1.5 million to give somebody?
It's not the dog.
Okay.
It's the person they are going to meet. The dog. The person is the owner of the dog.
Okay.
It's not like they see a dog and just like
have sex with
have
the
sex
dog.
with the dog. I think who is videoing them?
Okay, yes, that's another question. So, this what you just said, a lot of persons have also tried to dissect this online. We call them the internet citizens, so to say, netizens. Yes, they've tried to decipher this whole thing. Like, where is all of this coming from? What does all of this mean? And then there's an angle that said this thing happens because of ritual. That okay, fine, you're having sex with a dog. It's already abnormal. It's already absurd. It's already disturbing in so many ways. But it doesn't end there. That dog is now what they use for ritual, and then that's where money
Comes from.
That's where money comes up to pay the person that is involved in that act and all of that. Okay, now they've brought in the money angle, so people are doing it because of money. I read a story where a flight attendant, well-to-do, I read this on Twitter, well-to-do, she was talking about various escapades that she had experienced while flying for cruise. That's what they call it now, flying for cruise and all of that. And then she talked about how she was involved in something this similar. Somebody took her out of the country where she was resident in, took her to another country, and she had to stay the weekend. Well, the pictures are just so gory, but then it involved rolling over physics. It involved putting it in yourself, taking it in and all of that. And then the money at the end of the day was quite huge. Now, I talk about how this person is from a well-to-do family. So would you say, and then she had a comfortable job, a flight attendant. I think the least that they are paid is over 150K Nigerian naira. I do not know about that airline. Now, this person is well-to-do. Would you say that money is the only factor? I'm bringing in this story because now we've seen it that people are doing it because of money. Even the girl that went on TikTok to brag, she said, do you have this amount in your pocket and stuff like that. Now, that girl said it's probably because of money. She has cars, she has houses, she has money because she's doing this. What about people that already have this money? What excuse would you say this is why they are doing it?
I don't even know the excuse I want to say people are actually doing it. Maybe they are curious. I don't know.
Did you hear that one? Curious.
Maybe
Okay.
they want to try, some people are like, I don't want to say an addict when it comes to having sex.
Okay.
So maybe they feel they are tired of human beings.
Becky, to an extent I would agree with you. People want to try out new things. It's disturbing that this is what you decide to try, but people want to try out new things. Becky, what would you say is probably the cause why this is on rage right now, aside the money factor?
This is the part that nobody wants to talk about, but personally, I feel like people who do these things are possessed. Permit me to use the word. There is always a God factor to something like this. This is out of the ordinary. And it's safe to say that they are possessed, and it's okay to view it as such, because how can you want to have...
What else can you explain it?
Exactly, to be,
Okay, now that you brought in the God factor, so the idea of us discussing this on Hot Stuff Wednesday, I'm sorry that we cannot give you as much tempo as we used to, because this is really disturbing, and we're trying to really, sit comfortably with this. Now that you brought in the God factor, so there is spirituality, like we said, involved. Probably there's some persons that are not as spiritual as we are, and then we also said something about the economy. directly or indirectly, then economy has a role to play. If everybody was well-to-do, maybe the lot of persons that were doing it, like the girl, I think her name was Victoria or something.
V Goddess.
V Goddess, yes.
Yeah.
And people like her would not be involved in acts like that. After all, it was just for money. Now, now that we have seen that these are the issues, spirituality, do you think that the church has a role to play? Do you think that society has a role to play in curbing this, in controlling this? Because it's becoming a trend. And you know how it is in Nigeria. Over time, people will say, hey, it's normal. It's one of those things.
Never normal.
It's never going to be normal. Okay, let's be hopeful. But do you think that the church, the church, the faith system in Nigeria has a role to play in curbing this?
The faith system. Well, I'll talk about the society first. I think society has a role to play in this very well. Because you see that, okay, there's this story. A girl does this for money. And then there's a new story about that thing being done.
So that's what I just said. Like the society, over time, it now becomes, now it's what some people do now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what is the society influencing it, because you are seeing it and you are still doing it because people are doing it. Okay. And then it's like saying, okay, one of your friends come and say, I went to do this thing. If you want to make quick money, now you have like 10 million naira in your account. That amount,
yes,
you don't even think about the act that you are going to do. You are thinking about the money. Yes. You are thinking about, so in one day, I'm going to have this money in my account. And people are sweating to get this. So I believe that money is really the root of evil.
The love of it. Okay, Becky.
I don't, you talked about the economy first. I don't think our economy is entirely blameless, because in a country where over 90% of Nigerians, the ones that work, actually do not even earn up to 60K.
They are basically living below the
normal wage cannot even get a bag of rice. Okay. So people are really suffering. People are going through so much, even to feed. You know, so when they are presented, or when they are confronted with situations like this, they just fall because of the hardship that they are already in.
And the fact that they hear quick. You get
exactly.
It fast.
I'm not in any way trying to justify.
Like there's no excuse.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no excuse to do something like that, but still, the economy has a very major role to play in it.
Okay. Now, we're still talking about this issue as a societal problem, because if we do not look for ways to get ourselves out of it, before we know, it's going to be a societal norm. Like, it is going to be a norm real fast. So let me just bring in this angle. Why this is happening, why girls are doing this, let it be known that it is not just girls doing this. So somebody did put 2 plus 2 together and find out that, okay, so this is similar to what we heard when the whole Yahoo plus thing came. We heard people were going into forests to do the same thing, look for human waste and all of. So it still boils down to money.
It's always money.
It still boils down to money. So now let's bring this down to the society and all aspects of the society. When anytime I talk about society, I try to remind people that talking about society, you have to remember that the first unit of a society that anybody knows is the family.
Yeah.
Do you think that parental control, parental guidance, do you think that parenting has a role to play in this really disturbing situation, Becky?
If I'm going to single it down to the issue for today, I would say a very big no, because there are other things that parents would want to look out for. There are other things that parents would want to put you through. How do you now expect a mother to say, Ada, don't sleep with a dog?
No.
Okay.
I don't think that's what she's trying to ask. I feel like they're not saying that parents don't actually know what you are doing to earn this money. Their problem is, okay, you have not made money. See your mates. What are you doing at home? You don't have any job to do. It's not about the act. See parents now, let me say, not all, sure. Some parents now, you see their child coming up with cash and everything, and they don't bother to ask the source of how they made that money.
Like your child will just come home from nowhere with one GLK
and you are jumping and happy, and you don't know the source of that money. So I feel...
So in that regard, I like that you just brought it down to what it really is. Parents do not really, I think they deliberately turn a blind eye
yes.
to what you are doing to get the money. They shall know that you are glowing. They shall know that you are
Not
dressing
doing
well. They know
well.
that they are not giving you the money.
But for those of them, for the parents that has gone extra mile to actually disown that child, has anything changed?
Okay,
Some
so
children can be very overbearing.
Before we get to that extra mile of disowning the child, there's an adage that they say the child does not belong to just the parent, the child belongs to the society. But let's talk about parenting control. How can parents probably curb it? You might not be able to control your 28-year-old child that is already doing this, your 25-year-old child that is already doing this, but you have a 15-year-old teenager, a 16-year-old teenager. How do you think parents can? Because, like I said, if we do that to turn a blind eye, this is going to continually be the norm. Before you know, there's one girl that did it, there's one boy that did it, and that is what it is going to be. So let's ask, what do you think parents can start instigating or can start adding in their parenting so that teenagers do not grow up to be those adults?
Provide for your children.
Okay.
Provide for your children. I can never say this enough. There are a lot of parents who, once their girl child turns 16 and she start having books and she start collecting small money from guys, that's when they just say, okay,
yeah,
I'll try.
Exactly,
you can take care of yourself. There are a lot of people who are victims of situations like this. When they grow, when they are now teenagers, their parents just leave them to start fending for themselves. And how do you expect a 16-year-old to be able to navigate her way through life when there are lots of predators everywhere?
Okay, in that regard, Ella, do you have anything to say? I like that you said that. Provide for your children. Provide for the ones that you can, or give birth to the ones that you can provide for. Something of that
that's what I want to say. I agree with Tasha, because if you ask some of these girls now, they'll be like, I've been taking care of myself throughout school and everything. It's not as if their parents weren't there, but they became independent at a very young age. So they feel like, let me just take care any ways, like
take decisions by themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's bring it back to the society. What role? So we already know that this is a crime. I think the police were after Vigold for making that statement, for saying it openly that yes, I sleep with dogs, because I think the IGP also brought out the code, one of the criminal codes of Nigeria, that is against any sexual act that is not normal, that is not heterosexual, that's either a man and a woman. Anything other than that is 14 years imprisonment. If it's you and a child, 14 years imprisonment. If it's you versus somebody that looks like you, that's a woman, 14 years. If it's a man and a man, 14 years. If it's a man and a beast, 14, I feel that should be longer though. But now we know that is just what it is. It is just there as a law. Do you think that the government, do you think that the society, when I say the society in this regard, I'm talking about the ruling body of the society, do you think that they're enforcing this code and say, see, we will not allow this in our society?
I don't think so, because there are more stories coming out every day and there's nothing. They'll say, okay, we are searching for this person, and they are searching for a very long time. They're telling me that TikTok girl now has not been found till now. Where is she? Mountain. She's
staying in a cave. Okay, Becky, now that the laws are not really reaching out to these persons that are defaulting, do you think that there are any other ways that, okay, together as a society, me and you, plus the police, plus the government, can put an end to this menace?
The only option that I personally think would be effective is the one you just put to the side. The ruling bodies to enforce it. Saying it is one thing, and actually enforcing it is another. So we should go the extra mile to actually enforce it, to shun it from the society.
Okay, like enforcing it, because I would prefer that they make somebody a scapegoat. Somebody should see this. Yes. Somebody should see
an example that,
this is an example that they've done it. Anyways, this is the much that we can take on today's edition of Hot Stuff Wednesday. Well, this is quite disturbing, and like we've said, we've given you tidbits. If you listen through, you would see that there are tidbits of what you can do. Are you a parent? Make sure that you're providing for your children. You do not want to hear this story that your child is involving in this kind of act. Like, it is so immoral, it is so disturbing. If you're a police officer, please don't just say we are looking for this person. If you know somebody in your backyard doing this, bring this person out in the open and let everybody see that this punishment was melted out accordingly. That's very much that we can take on today's edition of Hot Stuff Wednesday. So we'll come your way next time. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to all of our social media platforms. It's TSLNIGERIA TV on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Till some other time, it's Joy Master saying bye-bye.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria Space TV and join our online family.